remember that everybody is struggling, like I say, and I'm going to repeat it, give yourself a break. You're allowed a holiday. Time another board a-hole here. Hope you're doing very well. It's a brand new start to a week. How does it keep on going? There's 52 of them in the year. And then all of a sudden it's going to be 2044 and we're still not going to have flying cars and it's absolutely going to suck. I suppose something a little bit different today. Not really, because I think it actually ties in quite predominantly to health and fitness and going to the gym. But it was World Mental Health Day on Friday or at some point over the weekend. I can't remember. Never a massive fan of things like that. I mean, it's good for awareness, but every single day needs to be World Mental Health Day or focus on your mental health day, or it's okay, you know, if you're struggling with your mental health. And I was like, look, we do these kind of, I wouldn't really call it a series, but we've done creatine, why it's good for the gym, why it sucks. We did pre-workout, we did something else, caffeine, which is kind of exactly the same as pre-workout, but whatever. I was sat here trying to come up with ideas, and I was like, you know what? We should do it about mental health, and we should do it about how that ties into fitness, because it is something that should be talked about more. It's something that kind of gets looked over a lot, especially because gym culture is like, oh, look at my biceps, I'm such a bro, I'm so badass. You're like, that's great if you're feeling it, but not everybody is in that vibe, and really, to even get to that vibe, you've got to get past a lot of hurdles. So yeah, nice and simple. Here's 4 reasons the gym is really good for mental health in your brain, and 4 reasons, more importantly, why it absolutely sucks. We'll start with the good, and in at number 4 is that it will literally make you feel better. And I don't mean, you know, in some magic potion kind of way. When you train and when you lift weights, I'm sure a lot of you knew this, your body releases endorphins, which is basically a feel-good hormone, a feel-good chemical, a feel-good, whatever the hell you want to call it, to do exactly that, to make you feel good and encouraging you to continue to work out. Because never forget, the human body is a pretty damn incredible thing. I don't want to get too blue here, but the reason, you know, you have a penis and a vagina that has certain nerve endings that make it feel good is because it wants you to push those two things together. And it's the same with lifting weights, going to the gym, or doing some form of exercise, be it running, playing boxing, whatever. That's what it's doing. It's telling you, do this and I will reward you. So if you are feeling like crap or you are looking for a pick-me-up, you know, you can go shopping. That's something you can do. You can talk to a friend, but you can go to the gym or, again, partake in the exercise that you enjoy, and your body pats you on the back and it releases you and you just feel awesome. It's why sometimes when you go to the gym and you really don't want to, you're like, oh, you leave as if you transformed into a different person. We've talked about Mum Ra from the Thundercats here before. We'll talk about him again because he's great. It's like when he goes to Mum Ra's tomb and he's 2 completely different people. That's what the gym is.
Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form into Mum Ra!
And that's why it's so good for your mental health, because it can pull you out of a slump. It can literally get you out of depression. Not 9 times out of 10. It's not a 100% foolproof method. But if you are suffering from some kind of minor depression, or you're just looking for a teeny tiny pick-me-up, the gym is right there. Your body knows this, and it gives you the thumbs up. And number 3 is that getting in shape is just good for you all round. And not just because you will look at yourself and it will build up your self-worth and it will build up your self-confidence, but it's more about having that goal, and accomplishing that goal really makes you feel like you've achieved because you've had. And it also can then become like a structure, a foundation for your own life. Because when you set yourself these targets, nothing too crazy. So you say, I'm going to add on, 3 pounds of muscle, or I'm going to drop half a stone of weight. When you get there and then you have visual rewards, so it's not like anybody can pretend these things aren't happening, because they are. It's like, oh, awesome. That's great. And then you'll do it again, you'll do it again, and you'll do it again. And what mostly happens is when you then come back to reality and you have a work project to do, or you're looking for a new job, you will set yourself these same kind of obstacles, these same kind of hurdles, and you'll overcome them in exactly the same way, and then everything's working in harmony, and it certainly does make you feel better. Never underestimate the incredible just power or the feeling of saying you're going to drop a certain amount of weight and then getting there, and then comparing 2 pictures and going, flub me, this actually worked. It's why it drives me nuts when people try and pretend that fitness is really hard. It's hard from a discipline point of view, but when it comes to actually getting it down, you just got to stop eating as much. If you're trying to put on weight, you need to eat more, blah, blah. That's not what this video is about. But that still doesn't take away from the fact that you applied yourself. You probably went through a bunch of negativity, because it's really hard to do it again in terms from a brain point of view. And so when you get there, your brain goes, sweet, let's do it again. And then within a year, 2 years, you're in your ideal shape. But unfortunately, that doesn't exist. We'll talk about it. Number 2 is that it gives you a daily focus. A daily focus. How many times have you had those days when you wake up and you just don't want to get out of bed? Maybe you do know why, because you're having some troubles. Maybe you don't know why. It's just one of those crazy things that life throws at you. But for whatever reason, even the thought of getting out of bed and going to have breakfast or whatever it feels like the hardest thing in the world, right? And that sucks. When you have, at least this is how it pertains to me. When I have the gym in my life, which I do, I know, well, I got to get in this much food today. I got to get my cardio done. I got to go to the gym. It gives me pillars within that 24-hour period that my brain can just latch onto. And we go, okay, well, I don't really want to get out of bed, but, you know, I want to get my cardio done. So I'll just focus on that. Then I get my cardio done. I have a shower, have some food. Right, I'm going to get back and buys done. So I go and do that. It gives you these little things that just allow you to continue to tick over. And then it ties into number 4, when you get the endorphin release, and hopefully by the end of the day, you will feel a little bit better. Nice and simple. And number 1 is that it can lower your stress levels. It can take them down. Like there's studies that show an increased heart rate will assist with that. But also, you know, when you are abusing is not the right word at all, but when you are triggering your body's central nervous system in this way, it almost forces it to work in harmony better, which means you deal with stress in a more effective way. And again, I'm not just saying these words. There are scientific studies out there to prove it. That's what happens when you go to the gym. So all of a sudden, not only are you feeling better when stress does come into your life, you're dealing with it better. It just gives you this whole new range of tools to deal with life. And never forget, life is terrifying, life is hard, life is a struggle. Of course it is. 100% of people, this is a stat I will stand behind it the day I die. 100% of people die and 100% of people struggle at least one day in their existence on this planet. How could you not? Think of all the crazy. You can wake up and go, wow, I've got no problems, and then one phone call, one letter, one whatever, and all of a sudden you've got 72,000 problems. So I didn't need that. It's really, really hard to be a human being. That's why I don't want to get too much off track. It'd be so much better if we're actually working together and trying to be friends, as opposed from I hate you and I hate you too, and everyone on Twitter like, ha ha, and going crazy and trolling. But you can only serve yourself, right? Because you're you, you're not anybody else. And that's why allowing little things like the gym or running or whatever exercise you choose to enter into your life can only be of benefit for you. And that is why the gym is awesome. However, number 4 on the bad side is that this can become too much, right? And I've been there, you've been there, everyone's been there. And you start to obsess about the gym. And you start to obsess, well, am I doing this right? And am I doing that right? It doesn't become fun anymore because you're overthinking it. And that's not exclusive to the gym. That can be anything, right? People do that in all walks of life. They latch onto something that seems like it's going to be the answer to all their problems, but they latch on too hard and it becomes a new problem. It's an addiction. It is. And I don't want to start comparing it to other things, but if you do want to, nobody ever wakes up one day and decides they want to get addicted to drugs or alcohol, right? It just happens because you're not feeling great in your life. And again, you latch onto it, like I just said, and then all of a sudden you realize that you over-relied on it. And you can do that with the gym as well. Now, I get you're going to go, well, you know, being addicted to heroin's bad from the start, whereas the gym's good for a little bit. Yes, but it's not the point. It's all about the mental side. We're talking about mental health here today. It's not talking about your, you know, your specific actions. And I never took it to this degree, but as we've talked about here on these videos before, there was a huge period of my life where I was just too strict. I was just too strict. I was like, I've got to eat every 2 to 3 hours. I can't eat any nice food or nice food. Again, we'll talk about that in a second too. It became too much, and it became too much of a burden on my shoulders. And amazingly, as soon as I stopped doing that, not only did I, of course, enjoy the process more, but I started to look better and I started to feel better. And when you start to feel better, everything else falls in place. And number 3, yes, taking what we just said, it can lead to eating disorders. It can, because what you start to do is you start to classify good food and bad food. Now, there's unhealthy food and there's healthy food, but you are allowed to eat some of the unhealthy food. Again, if you eat 10 pizzas in a day, but you do enough cardio to burn off 11 pizzas, well, hey, it doesn't even matter. Now, you need to get fruit and vegetables and vitamins and minerals in so you don't collapse as a person. But it happens, man. I get it. It happens both ways. It can happen from an anorexia point of view, where you just stop eating because you're so worried about putting on weight and you're so terrified of calories. And amazingly, there is something called bigorexia, which is the other way. You're so obsessed with being big, you do whatever the hell you need to get there. And I can understand that. Do you think I'm happy with my size? No. Do you think I'm happy with the lean I am? No. But I guess I'm content all around, and I understand that I'm going to keep working away, and wherever I get to is wherever the hell I'm going to get to. But that's not a good thing. Of course it's not, but it certainly can happen, especially in this Instagram social media world where you see these incredible physiques and the caption is, oh man, just smash 7 burgers. You're like, well, if I smash 7 burgers, I look like a heifer lump and a potato. Why does this person look like that? Now, that's a whole different video for a different time, but it doesn't do anything for your brain. Number 2 is that you start pushing yourself too hard. And of course, you need to be intense. You need to push yourself to a certain degree, but you push yourself so hard that you actually undo all the hard work we talked about earlier, and you destroy your central nervous system, and all these benefits that you had for reducing stress is now throwing your cortisol levels through the roof. I mean, you can have problems with your adrenal gland and all of these kind of things. Overtraining is very real, and overtraining actually is a potential catalyst for you getting depressed, because it's going to make you feel so tired and it's going to make you feel so lethargic. And when you're in the gym, everything's going to feel like you're curling the world. So last week, maybe you were doing 20 kilograms, like, oh, sweet, I'm getting there. And now you're doing 20 kilograms, and because your body and your brain's exhausted, you're like, oh, I can't lift it. And then you think you've done something wrong, where all you need is a little bit of recovery, a little bit of sleep, a little bit of TLC. You need to stay away from it. And again, the internet is terrible for this. Overtraining is a myth. Overtraining is a myth. It's not. They don't know how much sleep you're having. They don't know how much calories you're taking in. If you don't sleep for, don't do this, but don't sleep for a week and then try and train, right? Try and train 2 days consecutively. You are not going to be able to do it. And number one is that you start to judge yourself for the wrong reasons, right? It's an incredible thing that we go through. So you'll lose that stone we were talking about earlier, and you're like, oh, sweet. And then you only lose a couple of pounds, or maybe you put on a couple of more pounds. All of a sudden you start feeling bad and feeling terrible, like, well, I was doing so well, why not I'm doing, well anymore? And it shouldn't be. I mean, it has to be about the results, of course, eventually, but the day-to-day has to be about you enjoying the process and knowing that you're heading in the right direction, and knowing there's going to be good days and knowing there's going to be bad days. It's all right if you cheat on your diet on Tuesday. I get it. Oh, I had a Mars bar. I totally understand. Having a Tuesday Mars bar may as well be going to meet aliens, as far as I'm concerned. It seems so out of my wheelhouse. But as long as you don't have a Mars bar every day, well, you could have a Mars bar every day, but as long as you're not overeating all the time, it absolutely doesn't matter. And trust me, I'm preaching all this stuff. I don't mean to, but I am. I don't feel like this all the time, Like if I have a random brownie here and there, I will feel bad, or maybe I've got to do more cardio. And you just need to be aware, and you need to make sure that your focus is in the right areas, because it is so easy to get obsessed with this stuff, and it's so easy to start taking the wrong things back from it, because you started doing it because it made you feel good. And I suppose in one way, everything else you get at the other side is just an extra. And there is no point doing it if you're going to feel like crap. Remember, it's called health and fitness. Let's get rid of those last two words. It's about your health, and mental health ties into that. So while, it may be, getting that body fat percentage down is going to be helping your blood pressure and your liver and your kidneys and your heart and everything like that. If it's not helping your brain too, then you are going to fall off the wagon. You just are. So make sure whatever you're doing, you're enjoying it, you're having fun, you're giving yourself a break. You're not, bending yourself over barrels all the time because you think you've made a mistake. You are going to make mistakes. And when you first start getting into the gym, it's all trial and error anyway. Number one question, Simon, how many calories should we be having? I don't know. I could give you all my calories and we could have exactly the same body weight and exactly the same body fat percentage, and you become massive troll man, and somehow I get super duper lean. We just don't know. So put yourself first. Put your mental health first. Remember that everybody is struggling, like I say, and I'm going to repeat it. Give yourself a break. You're allowed a holiday. There you go. 4 reasons mental health is great for the gym. Other way around, gym is great for the mental health, and vice versa. I hope you're doing all right today. And if you're not, go and talk to someone. It's massively important. Like the video, share the video, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell, ding, ding. You know when another video is going live. You can click another video on the screen right now. Also have new merchandise, simonmiller.bigcartel.com. What else do I have? Instagram and Twitter at Simon316. Patreon.com/Simon316 if you want to support the channel with money. That's what it is. I'm going to be honest with you. See you soon.